Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation on Yohji Yamamoto, a comparison of traditional designs and details. This presentation will compare and contrast the use of traditional Japanese methods throughout Yohji Yamamoto's career. Yohji Yamamoto was born in Japan in 1943, just 2 years before the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. This left a profound impact on his design aesthetics and left him without a sense of Japanese nationalism. He premiered his designs in Paris in 1981, and it was then that the rest of the world noticed his Japanese influences, and along with other Japanese designers, he ushered in the new age of the Japanese avant-garde. Since then, we can see his Japanese influences throughout his designs. We can see the influence of traditional Japanese costumes through the construction of his garments. His mother was a dressmaker, and Yohji identifies himself as a dressmaker as well. He believes in form and function, and just like the traditional Japanese aesthetic for beauty, Yohji believes that the nape of the neck and the curve of the back are beautiful body parts of women. So like the traditional kimono, he uses its flat designs to create curves and shapes on his figures. Yohji is able to perfectly encompass both the 2D flat designs from the east and the 3D designing forms from the west to create his pieces. The first image illustrates a classic kimono sleeve along with a western trench. The image to the left features many ties and hidden pockets to emulate the traditional Japanese yukatas, and is a great example of the mix of form and function. Also very noticeable in Yohji's collections is his interpretation of the Japanese traditional hanaka pant, which is oversized and draped. The hanaka pant can be seen in both the women's and men's collection, and to the image on the right is the image of the classic hanaka pant. Yohji Yamamoto is the most well known for the use of the color black throughout his collections. He believes that black is mysterious and modest. In Japan, colors traditionally portray a strong emotion that can represent many different feelings. It can also represent a certain season, fortune, or even special ceremonies. So when Yohji uses a color, it is usually strong hues to portray a certain message or emotion. Here you can also notice that these women are wearing many layers of clothing. Just like the layers worn in Japanese historic costumes, Yohji believes that women are more beautiful when they are covered because it leaves more to the imagination. The color white is traditionally used for weddings and can represent good fortune in Japanese costumes. The image to the far right is a Yohji piece that reflects the traditional kimono's flat design and features cutouts layered over a pant and dress. The center image is one of Yohji's wedding dresses that emulates the intricate folds like the traditional kimono pictured on the right. The center bottom image illustrates the complex pleats and folds in Yohji's wedding dress. Red is a color of good fortune for the Japanese and is even seen on its national flag. The land of the rising sun rises red. When Yohji uses the color red, it is specifically a strong hue to emote a feeling. The color red was used to represent rank and power and was frequently used on woodblock prints such as the one on the image to the right. At times, Yohji uses red as a sharp contrast against his usual black as pictured in two of the images, and at other times he uses that as a complete color-blocked outfit. Red continues to be one of the colors that best represent Japanese nationalism, and Yohji uses red in earnest. Japan is still renowned for its indigo blue dyeing method, which Yohji uses for both his women's and men's collection, as pictured below. Traditional indigo dyeing was used as a working class color, and Yohji has a fascination for historical workwear from both the Japanese and the Western perspective. Denim and indigo blue cotton were both working class wear, and Yohji described his method of gaining inspiration from historic images by looking at the image of the worker's face and imagining what their lives were like and how they lived. Now, let's move into Yohji's textiles. Japan has created many original fabrications since the introduction of the draw loom and heavy silk, and Yohji employs many factories in Japan to single-handedly keep these traditions alive. Each custom fabric that Yohji creates is carefully balanced through the warp and weft and is dyed to the ideal color, which creates a feeling of wear, giving each garment life. Just like traditional Japanese costumes, Yohji uses twills, wools, and silks for outer garments, and plain cottons and gabardines for his inner garments. Heavily structured and oversized outer garments that hung away from the body was a new concept for the West, but in Japan this concept was very similar to wa, or harmony, keeping the clothes separate from the body and working with its forms. Another traditional embellishment technique used by Yohji is embroidery. In these images, you can see the hand-embroidered floral images and shapes in his designs using a gold silk brocade. This image to the bottom right is a traditional Japanese kimono design. These designs were traditionally used to elaborately decorate the obi and kimono. The image to the far left is an image from the Yohji's Spring-Summer 1995 collection, which reflects the delicate hand embroidery with gold twill. Their center image is a floral hand embroidery and was made on a loom. The image to the center right features a Western jacket with gold embroidery and square badges to represent the West's idea of the East's beauty. Shibori dyeing is used to decorate Japanese kimonos and can be used in the resist or dyeing method to create elaborate designs. The pieces are tied with silk or cotton thread and are dyed using wooden buckets. Due to its intricate nature, this is the most work-intensive and expensive way to dye clothing. These pieces are from the Autumn-Winter 95 and Spring-Summer 95 collections. The draped and wrapped design of the robes reflect the traditional yukatas, and you can notice that Yohji's emphasis on the neck and back on the image to the far right. Kyo-yusen is a traditional dyeing technique that originated in Kyoto in the 1700s and is traditionally used for kimonos. It includes over 20 steps, which include design, drawing, gluing, dyeing, and decorating. In his Autumn-Winter 2009 collection, pictured on the two left images, he used this dyeing method, but with modern motifs that reflected the traditional motifs. The bottom left image is a traditional yunsen pattern. Also, please note the dyed strap on the outfit on the far left, which is reminiscent of the straps used under kimonos. The two images on the far right are an example of Yohji's screen printing. These are from his Spring-Summer Menswear 2000 collection and his Spring-Summer Womenswear 2011 collection. Screen printing is a traditional method using a stencil to force ink through silk or synthetic fabrics to create a design on the surface beneath. Yohji uses modern motifs and vibrant colors for his screen prints, but the historical reference is undeniable. Thank you for your time and listening to my reflection on Yohji Yamamoto's designs and influence through Japanese traditional techniques and methods. I would like to leave you with an applicable quote from Yohji Yamamoto for you to ponder. With my eyes turned to the past, I walk backwards toward the future. Thank you.